12 of our Soul Search fast. We are closing in towards the end of week 2, and I really want to know what God is speaking to you. What's he telling you? What are you hearing from him? What significant things is God moving in your life as you are pursuing him through the Soul Search fast? You know, today's reading in Nehemiah is unique because God is bringing them back to a practice that he had instituted sometime before. And just like the Israelites are doing, we are kind of revisiting old practices when we fast. We're remembering what God has done for us. We're engaging him in new ways. We're looking for new and creative ways to hear him. And when we fast, we sacrifice and we really press in. And it's a little bit more difficult for us than it normally is, right? You know, when we fast, we give things up. And it's an act of sacrifice, which biblically is an act of humility, which God really, really likes. So, love to hear from you. Shoot me a text or an email. Give me a call. Come by the office sometime. Love to hear how God is moving and speaking to you in your life. You'll have an opportunity on Sunday, too. I'm going to ask people again to share what's he speaking, what's he saying. So, today, the second half of chapter 8 in Nehemiah, the Lord is reminding them to participate in the Festival of Shelters. This may seem like a weird thing. It's like, go set up these little tents, these little temporary structures. Well, it goes all the way back to the book of Leviticus when God instituted the Festival of Shelters, something that they would do for 7 days every year. Verses 42 and 43, for 7 days you must live outside in little shelters. I'm reading from the NLT. It says, these shelters remind each new generation of Israelites that I made their ancestors live in shelters when I rescued them from the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God. Remember the story of Moses calling them out of Egypt. God does this dramatic thing where he calls them out of Egypt. There's all these miracles, the plagues and all these things that are visited upon the Israelites. And the ultimate thing that happens, that probably the biggest thing, they come to the Red Sea. And what happens? They think the journey is over. Like Pastor Josh preached just a few weeks ago, beautiful sermon about feeling like it looks like it's over. And one of the most powerful things that Josh said, and I still remember this, is that the illusions of the enemy, they look like what they're supposed to look like. We're overwhelmed by them because they're supposed to look overwhelming. It looks like we're trapped because that's how it's supposed to look. What does God do? He parts the Red Sea. He brings the Israelites through. He closes the Red Sea on the enemies of God, who are pursuing his children, keeping them all safe, rescuing, saving them all. It's a crazy story, right? Well, the cool thing is God is rescuing and saving us today, even now. Now, you may not have Egyptians chasing you, but what are you needing God to set you free from? Is it relationship issues? Are there maybe struggles in a marriage or a friendship or a job, finances? Maybe you within yourself need some more spiritual clarity. Maybe there's areas where you just need God to move, because if he doesn't, you're feeling stuck, like you can't go anywhere, like you can't do anything. No matter what it is, we fast to press in, to humble ourselves, to ask God to set us free. And just like they observed with the Festival of Shelters, by going outside, right? You've got a home, right? I look at this home and I think there's no way I want to set up a tent outside 7 days a week for 7 days of, a whole week during, particular time of year. Well, it's to remember that that the ancestors lived in these structures when God freed them from their bondage, from their captivity in Egypt. It's a cool thing. It's God's way of teaching through remembrance. Everything God does is for a purpose, and everything is about remembrance of what the Lord has done. It's his way of teaching them. I will always protect you. I will always care for you. I will always be there for you. So, to summarize, the Festival of Shelters is an act of remembrance. What do we need to do to remember what God has brought us from, what he's brought us to, and what he's continuing to do to us, through us, for us, and speaking to us? Will you pray with me? God, thanks so much for the opportunity to pursue you in a Soul Search fast as we reflect on the Festival of Shelters and how you freed your children from Israel and set up these shelters for them as a means of remembrance. God, would you continue to remind us, God? Give us eyes to see, ears to hear, hearts to receive truth from you through this fast. We're about 2/3 of the way through, Lord. Let us continue to press in to hear your voice and to get all that you have for us. We ask this in your name. Amen. Can't wait to see you all this weekend as we get, week 2 of the sermon series on Nehemiah. We're going to talk about restoration, what it means to be restored, have God restore for us. God bless you all. I can't wait to see you